Well, hello and welcome to another 2 Network transfer update with me, Adam. The news is almost official. Kenedy is coming back to St James's Park. He's joining on a second loan spell, this time for the season. Pete Graves of Sky Sports has taken a photo with him on the train, so he's definitely 100% en route tonight. Luke Edwards from the Telegraph has reported that the deal will include an option to buy. This is something that I know a lot of fans obviously felt really passionately about. We all obviously wanted him to come back again. Whether we could have afforded him this summer was debatable, given the constraints that Mike Ashley's put on the club, as we've talked about. We talk about endlessly, put it that way. But Kenedy is en route to Newcastle. He wanted to move back. There was interest from other clubs, such as Leipzig, I think, in recent days. Bayern Munich, Spurs, there was even PSG, I think a couple of months ago, it all had reported interest in the Brazilian winger. But I think the experience that Kenedy had up here for the last half of the second half of last season has made his mind up. He saw Newcastle at its very best. We were on a great run. He was integral to that. And also Rafa Benitez, the pulling power of Rafa Benitez, his contact at Chelsea, you know, as we all know, Rafa still has a lot of friends at Stamford Bridge. He won the Europa League a few years back as interim manager, the infamously titled interim manager, and he's managed to turn on the charm and persuade Kenedy that his future and his next few years of development should be at St James's Park, playing top flight football in his 52,000 seater stadium, just being given a chance to express himself in the first team consistently. It's what he's lacked since he joined Chelsea. They have a bloated squad anyway, especially with a new manager coming in. It's debatable whether he's in his plans. That's obviously not going to be the case. Obviously, before he signed on loan last January, Rafa had courted him for months, wanted him to bring him in last summer, but it was only until Chelsea brought in Emerson Palmieri last January that they eventually allowed him to leave, because they didn't want to be left short on that left hand side. And the rest of this is history. You know, we all saw the impact that he had in his debut against Burnley. Won the penalty, you know, the first penalty we'd had in about 400 years. And he turned up for 2 of our biggest matches last season. He turned up. He put on the winner against Huddersfield, which was a relegation 6-pointer, and then against Southampton in an absolutely must-win game at the bottom, he scored that absolutely delicious goal where he used his shoulder to beat a man for a Shelby ball, tucked it home, and then that amazing team move, one of my goals of the season, an amazing team move against Southampton, which Gale squared for him to finish. And his impact when he arrived was immediate. He's exciting, and it wasn't just like, you know, Newcastle have a history of loving exciting wingers, you know, Ginolas and Europes and Hatton Ben Arfa, but there's something different about Kenedy in that he has all that in his lock. He has the flair, he can beat a man, he's very direct, he likes to just drive at people and basically shit them up, you know. There's no point in giving defenders an easy ride, he just runs at them. He asks them to commit, he asks them to see what, you know, if they can stop him, and often they can't. He's got a great whip delivery. He's just so confident on the ball, and it's not an arrogant swagger, but it's definitely a swagger. And I just think when he arrived, he lifted the games of all the players around him as well. They gave him the ball knowing that he wasn't going to lose it as easily as, say, Atsu might on that left-hand side. And I think, you know, it paired with Dubravka and Kenedy coming into the side and being mainstays in that really successful run that ultimately ensured our survival. You know, he ensured himself. You know, confirmed his sort of cult status. I mean, he was absolutely adored immediately. As I said, that debut against Burnley, he hit the post as well after winning that penalty. Like there was against Leicester, that amazing Elastico skill. But beyond the skills and the flicks and the tricks, it's different. I see a lot of similarities between him and his good friend and compatriot Willian. So if you consider Willian, obviously they're on different levels as it stands. There's nothing to say that Kenedy can't reach those levels of Willian, but he's got a lot of work to do, because I think Willian's an absolute class act, model professional. But what he does in the final third, he's quick, he's got great delivery, Willian, and he's got a trick, he's got flair. But then the flip side of Willian is that he's very defensively disciplined as well. He's got good tactical awareness, and he digs in hard. He's got a really good work ethic. And I see these qualities in Kenedy as well. I see that flair Brazilian winger, but he's played a lot of his time as a left back, so he's very aware of what's behind him as well. So I feel as a player who's like quite rounded and quite complete and is versatile, and as a 22-year-old just has no fear. Sat on the bench at Chelsea, comes to Newcastle and just has an amazing experience, which he talked about when he left, and the loan move came to an end, and he did give quotes in the media to say, hope to return one day, and you think, he's just being nice, he's being polite, and he's had a really good time. But the kid's a class act, the kid's got talent, and he would absolutely improve us. But are we going to be able to afford 20 million? Well, as mentioned at the start of the video, the big news is, beyond the season-long loan, is that Luke Edwards is reporting that there is an option to buy. Pete Graves was trying to establish whether that's true or not. Luke Edwards is adamant that there's an option to buy at the end of this deal, and I think that's huge. I can't imagine a situation where Rafa Benitez is not going to take that up at the end of the season. He's got undoubted talent. He slotted in and integrated so quickly last time. I only think he's going to achieve so much more with a full pre-season. Maybe not full pre-season, but a good month, and a full season under Rafa Benitez, feeding hopefully a new striker. There might be Townsend coming in on the other wing. They could probably swap. There's a lot of versatility there, and to have that kind of potency and pace and talent on the wings, it's going to completely change the way people look at us, and the threat there is very, very tangible. I've got a lot of time for Kenedy. He impressed me a lot. There were some games where maybe he didn't sort of show up, but again, he's a young lad and hadn't played a lot of first team football in England at all when he came. So what I remember is the matches when it mattered. That Southampton game and that Huddersfield game, he was integral. We would not have won those two games without him, and we would have been in a lot of trouble without those wins. So I'm so delighted that Kenedy is coming back. It says a lot about Rafa Benitez. It says a lot about the club and the impressions that we give, and I think the fact that Rafa nurtured him well last season means that I think Chelsea know they can trust us with him to develop that talent. I mean, strictly speaking, I don't think Chelsea really care about him anymore. I think that's fairly obvious that they want to ship him out, but it's really telling that Kenedy will definitely have had other offers, but he wanted to come to Newcastle underneath Rafa Benitez because he knew that was the best place for him to develop him, to nurture his talent, and to get the best out of him. You know what? Rafa will have just said, go and express yourself. Yes, I want you to do this tactically. This is the shape. This is how we move. This is the strategy that I want to impose on the opposition. But ultimately, Kennedy's one of those players that is so comfortable on the ball, and you never feel like he's gonna lose the ball when he dribbles, when he takes on men. Yes, he's not gonna get past every man every single time, but you could probably, he'll fancy his chances every single time, and I think that kind of confidence is infectious, and I think it'll give everyone a lift. And if you think now, it's the 9th of July, it's very late in the 9th of July, we've had Dubravka in for pennies, a couple of million, we've had Key in on a free, and Kenedy, as it stands, arguably, he's just a loan fee which will be pennies as well. So Rafa's brought in 3 very good players, I think, for where we are. That will give us really good squad depth, will lift everyone, and he's clearly saving his money for the striker that we really need, and that's I think that's going to be really important. I think a good striker can really help us aim for a top half place again, and that's where I think we need to be looking at. But Kenedy's coming back. Think about him in that new strip, just a word on that, on new away strip that takes us back to the 95-96 season. Beardsley, Ferdinand, Ginola, Rob Lee, the nostalgia is brilliant. I think Puma have done a really good job. Yes, they've just taken the colours as well, but they've put their own style on it as well. I think it's a lovely kit. I think it should be applauded, and I think the lads are going to look absolutely class in it. I wasn't too enamoured with the light blue last season. It was okay, it wasn't offensive, but I felt that last season the home kit and the third kit were probably the standouts. But I think this season the away strip definitely takes all the awards. But I am absolutely delighted. This is probably going to be fully announced tomorrow, but I can't see any problems being done with it. What a signing. Really pleased about this one. This was the one I wanted out of all of the other rumours. Kenedy was the one I wanted, and it looks like if he has a good season, which I can't see him not having, then we'll hopefully get him in on a permanent next summer. Anyway, I'll keep it short and sweet. That's Kenedy in. I've been Adam of the Toon Network. This has been another transfer update. Take it easy, watch out for more of my videos, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.